In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Blackmagic Design Pyxis 6K Pyxis Monitor. Also works with the Ursa 12K LF and Ursa 17K LF, but we're going to be looking at use case scenario with the Pyxis because that's what I've used it with. In the video, I'll be covering the pros, cons, thoughts, feelings. I've had this monitor now roughly for about 2 months as of the recording of this video itself. So I had it a little bit out before general shipping started. To that point, if there is something that I miss, as always, please leave a comment down below with your questions. The initial unboxing is like anything Blackmagic. It's not fancy, it's not flash. You get a couple of bits of marketing card in there and the unit itself. And I'm going to put that down as an initial con for this monitor. In actual fact, I'll probably list what I consider all of the cons right now, just to get it over with in case that's what you're waiting for. When you open the box, you don't get anything to make this monitor work. There's no cable. I'm going to go over cables in a bit and what I'm using and where you can get them from. It's a cheeky little deal in there, so keep watching if you're interested in that. You don't get a pouch or a soft case or anything like that to put the monitor in when you're traveling, which I think is a bit crap. And you don't get the USB-C or PD point access to USB-C to make it actually work. There's also nothing to tell you what type of cable you need to get. In terms of usability, you don't get anything you need to make it work or transport it around. And I really think for the price point, that's a bit of a Blackmagic low blow personally. Staying on price point and why I think it's a low blow, a lot of people might start whinging saying that this is quite an affordable monitor. And I would somewhat agree with you and somewhat disagree with you. I'd agree with you because for the nits that you get, I think it's 1600, I'm not sure, but it's very bright. And a monitor that doesn't need any power and is proprietary. It works fantastic with the Pyxis. It's somewhat affordable. But in comparison to spending a little bit more for an SDI monitor, you can get one of the lower end Blackmagic Video Assists or Ninjas if you can wait for some kind of tech deal. You're not talking much more at all, and of course that's an external recorder that will allow you to do lots of things, but also will work on a multitude of other systems as well. So the fact that you have to pay over £300 for this and it only works with the Pyxis, and you don't get anything to make it work with the Pyxis other than a big empty box and a sun hood, which, to be frank, the sun hood's I mean it's quite nice, but it's also quite flimsy. I think they could have done more. I think they could have done better. I feel like we're paying for production problems on the initial batch. So now the negatives are out of the way, let's talk about the positive aspects of the Pyxis monitor. The main one that I really like being its framework is completely metal. There are internal plasticky bits, but for the most part, the bits that you're going to be interacting with and using everything else, it's metallic. In terms of build quality, it has a decent feel and weight to it, which I really do appreciate. The custom buttons then on the back are easily accessible. You can really get creative with how you customize it as well. You also get this locking port on the back for your lock-in USB-C, more on that later, so keep watching. A nice big tally light, which is really great considering the Pyxis doesn't really have a front tally light. It's just got the little blinker on the back, so a nice big tally light on the front, which is great. As I've said, the RE locating pins are wonderful for when you want to rig this to actually tilt and move it around without having any kind of mount slip. The sun hood itself is quite easy to attach and detach. And yeah, basically that's what you get. You get a metal chassised, high bright monitor. It's 1080p, it's got I think a 60 FPS refresh rate. And it's pretty easy to mount. It's got a great tally light on it with 3 customizable buttons and of course your access point for your USB-C. So I've been across all the forums, I've been across all social medias and put up, including on here on the YouTube channel, battery tests for different scenarios that are useful to me and I think will be useful to you. So the reality is you won't be on any shoot running your batteries that low, but my tests give you a good guideline Again, like I can't account for the humidity and the constant temperature of the environments that you're going to be in, where you are in the world and how that's affected the state your battery is in, the temperature of your battery, etc, etc, etc. So using the monitor, you're going to lose about tops 20 minutes of your normal battery life when you have the monitor attached to the Pyxis. And I mean, for me, that's a big pro in that you don't have to carry additional batteries for this. It's powered through the Pyxis itself, and that's a huge weight saving cost gone from having this monitor. It's a real pro of this monitor, and of course that's going to negate the whole SDI protocol issue, so on and so forth. Lots of reports of people saying they have low contrast monitors, and that's simply that you haven't applied a viewing LUT in this monitor. It's still on like vlog out if you're on film, so film Gen 5, then that's what you're seeing is vlog. You can also calibrate this monitor as well. It might be that you need to update the monitor, and again, there's nothing on Blackmagic to tell you about this, but the same way that you will update your camera, you have to update the monitor as well. It doesn't do it hand in hand, you have to do it separately. So as far as I'm aware, at time of recording. So again, if you want a video on how to update this, please let me know. It will be about 10 seconds long, 20 seconds long. Might even do it just as a short, but I can show you the run through process of updating the monitor. Okay, so let's talk about cables. What you're looking for is a USB-C 4 or PD connection, and I would aim for around 100 watt power output, 4K 60 Hertz. So I've linked a couple cables down below. Me personally, I'm using the lock-in USB-C right angle to lock-in USB-C right angle from XLCS Design. They're in the States, so if you're in Europe or in the UK, there is a time delay on those orders. But before you head over, wait one sec, I've got a little cheeky bonus for you. In the meantime, whilst I was waiting for those, I actually Amazoned a USB-C 4 PD, USB-C to USB-C. The important thing to note is if you're using, like I have the Tilta cage or anything like that, coming out of the Pyxis you're going to want a straight, and going into the monitor right angle is just as good, or straight to straight. If you try and plug a fatter right angle into the Pyxis, your cage is going to get in the way, or your mounting accessory at the top, and it's not quite going to seat itself and click in there. So unless you've got a actually Pyxis Design cable that is going to work, I would advise getting straight to straight for the time being. So I've linked this cable down below. This is an 8K 60 Hertz, although it's probably not, it's probably 30 Hertz, but it's above 4K 60, 120 watt PD accessory cable, gold plated on both ends, and I think I paid around about £20 for this. Both my cables are 30 centimeters because it gives a nice distance to the monitor and allows you to tilt and twist and all the rest of it, but at the same time keeps a low profile and nice and clean. I'll link both of these cables down below, but to that cheeky discount, I wanted the lock-in solution because again, the problem with HDMI connections and PD or USB-C, some of them click and lock into place, but still it's just a snag away from coming out quite easily, and having the lock-in mechanism on there prevents that from happening. It's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of BNC or SDI, is that it locks in, and cable snags, which happen all the time, aren't going to be a concern for you. You're not going to worry about breaking your port. So having this screw lock into the mount itself means that most of that tension's gone onto the screw rather than the mount getting jiggled around. For that discount is if you pop this in your basket on XLCS, and hopefully they don't see this, or if they do, they keep honouring it because it's a great cable. If you pop this in your basket and you put your email in and sign up and all that jazz, and you leave it in your basket, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and you should have a $10 off code ready and waiting for you to reduce that shipping fee down to what we would normally expect to pay for shipping in the UK anyway. If I can find the code, if I haven't deleted the email, I'll pop that in the link down below as well, so you don't have to wait a night, you can just get this. Mine's in red because the black was on back order and I wanted the cable ASAP. Okay, then to summarize this video, because it's probably already gone on a bit too long, who do I think this is for and who do I think would be better going elsewhere? If you absolutely must have camera control up top, if you don't want to carry extra batteries, if you're okay with the battery drawer, if you want a proprietary system and you want the complete package, so the Pyxis as it probably should have been designed in the first place, and you want the whole complete package going on, you've probably already ordered sets and so on and so forth. But if you're looking for a fast, easy solution that just works with the camera, and it does, it just works, and increases that usability of your Pyxis, then this is a go-to for you. That said, if you are happy to spend a little bit more, like £150 more or £100 more, if you're happy with the used market on eBay, you can really level up your Pyxis. You could pick up a video assist that's going to give you 4K ProRes 60 frames per second that every client is asking for right now, which means you still get to take this to the kind of shoots where there's FX6s and so on and so forth, and you're going to get both your B-RAW and ProRes. Portkeys do a monitor that allows camera control. It isn't an external recorder, but again, it's a monitor that you can take across multitude of systems, and you're not stuck with only using it on the Pyxis. And so maybe in that scenario, if that's what you need, if you're shooting stuff in house where it always goes out ProRes, H.265, so on and so forth, then I would recommend the video assist over the actual monitor itself. So just to recap, the links for the cables will be down below. If I can find the code to give you $10 off, I'll chuck that in there as well. If you have any questions or anything I've missed or glanced over, I realise I haven't said that it's, you know, tactile responsive, you can zoom in, etc, etc, because it's the same as the back or the side of any Blackmagic camera system out there. It's identical, other than it's brighter, and it's removable and on top of your camera or side, wherever you decide to put it. So I just don't think there's any point in reporting on systems they already make and you've already used. You're going to get exactly what you pay for, a menu up top on a monitor that you've seen many times over. But if I've missed anything specifically you want to know about, realistically with battery tests as well, please be realistic, and all that jazz, then leave it down below and I will do my best to answer those questions and get back to you however I can. I'm sure at this stage there's plenty of other YouTubers out there that have done a far too much of an in-depth review of this monitor. It's a monitor, works great, looks fantastic, get it if you need it, and that would be my final response. Okay, that's it. That's the video. If it's the start of your week, I hope you have a fantastic week. If it's the end of the week, I hope you've had a fantastic week and you're going to have a great weekend. And I will see you in